Hi, Dr. Jay Sutliffe back again this month for Optimize for Life. I'm a health educator, professor, and registered dietitian. This month we're going to go real simple. We're going to go back to simplifying things, trying to define where we're at. And so I want to get very basic again. Sometimes we get too intricate, too sophisticated. I'm going to bring it right back to basics this month. We're going to simplify it down to two things. What we're going to look at is abstaining from certain foods and sustaining foods. So think of that in two ways. One is what food should we abstain from? And secondly, what foods sustain us? So as I look at the health issues, the chronic disease that's going on in Western societies, what we really see going on is two issues with the foods that we need to abstain from. The first one is processed foods. We're just consuming too many processed foods that are void of nutrients. They are convenience foods, they're at gas stations, they're in our glove compartments, they're in our glove box, they're all around us. Rarely are we more than 15 feet away from food, and a lot of times what we have is processed foods close to us sitting on the shelf. They have a long shelf life. We take them with us when we go walking somewhere, we go hiking, whatever we're doing, always jamming things into our mouth, but most of the times it's processed foods. So processed foods a lot of times have to do with flour and different types of foods like that. We take the nutrients out, separate them out, and they're void of nutrients. Yeah, they're convenient, but they're highly inflammatory in the body. So a lot of the diseases that we see today have inflammation in common, whether it's cancer, heart disease, diabetes, all these different things, arthritis, sore joints. What's going on is we have an inflammatory reaction to a lot of processed foods. So what happens is when we process the foods, and we take fiber out, and we take nutrients out, we're getting very concentrated calories, and those calories hit the system at once. And a lot of times if there are a lot of grains and things like that, what happens is it spikes the insulin levels. Or we take a good fruit and we juice it, and we're drinking the juice of it, or we're processing it and taking the fiber out and making sauces and things like that. A lot of times what happens is it enters the bloodstream very quickly, spiking insulin levels. The pancreas is producing the insulin to take the carbohydrates out of the bloodstream and into the cells. And what's happening is when we have overabundance of insulin being released from the pancreas, causes an inflammatory reaction in the body. So this is one of the groups that we want to abstain from. Abstain from processed foods. That's your processed foods, your grains, your flours, all those different things where we've processed and separated them from their nutrients. That's the one group. The other group I want to talk about abstaining from is animal protein. Animal protein is a very concentrated form of calories. We have caused an imbalance of nutrients in the body and also setting the stage for inflammatory reactions, specifically IGF-1, insulin-like growth factor 1. And we see this time and time again, setting the stage, inflammation. We have localized and systemic inflammatory reactions in the body, spiking these IGF-1 levels. And what we're finding, more research all the time, coming out every week, we're having articles coming out saying the IGF-1 sets the stage for a lot of cancers, and also sets the stage for heart disease and different things like that. So what we want to do is abstain from processed foods and animal protein. Both of them are very concentrated sources of calories, causing inflammatory reactions in the body and also causing imbalances in the body. So what we see is those are the foods we want to abstain from. So it's easy to point out the problem. In fact, today we just had an article that we submitted for publication showing a 6-week study we did last year where we basically taught people these principles, and it was accepted for publication today. We'll be talking about that more. But once again, we proved again that we can lower inflammatory reactions. We can help people with their moods. We can improve their sleep. All of these things happen, and improve when we abstain from processed foods and animal protein. So if we're going to take those out of the body, if we're going to abstain from those, what are we going to include? So let me take you through foods that sustain us. And now we're going to look at nutrient-dense, plant-rich foods. Some people call it whole foods, plant-based. But what we want to talk about is nutrient-rich, that's what we're looking at right now. Nutrient-rich, nutrient-dense foods. So here we go. I'm going to give you a typical day. When you get up in the morning, Think about this, your kidneys, your liver, all your cleansing parts of your body, the different systems and like that, has been cleaning your blood all night long. So when you get up in the morning, the best thing to do is go to the faucet, get some water, maybe a little bit warm, okay, maybe a little bit of lemon in there, and start drinking some water. Start cleansing the body, get the blood flowing, okay, getting the kidneys to eliminate the toxins out of the body, rev up that liver, okay, get the bile out of there, get the toxins out, let it get into the bowels, and try to get the bowels to move so it can clean out the body. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do is get some fluids in the morning, get the circulation going, get the waste products out. Then you want to look at when maybe you want to do some exercise or something like that, get the body moving, get the blood pumping, whatever type of exercise you're going to do. But we're going to deal with exercise separate. This is just about nutrition right now. So what we want to do is when we're getting ready to eat our breakfast, okay, our first meal of the day, we always want to include fresh fruits, okay? Maybe we have some oranges or tangelos or tangerines, some citrus. Maybe you want to get some pears, things like that, maybe some bananas, or maybe you want to look at getting some berries. Berries are the most nutritious fruits there are, and so I always want to have some berries around or some cherries, things like that. And then you always want to include in there some whole grains. Now, some people may consider granola being a processed food, but what I'm going to show you here is you take a little bit of granola like this. And what I like to do is then add in maybe some flaxseed, sesame seed ground up. So you want to get seeds and nuts in there, get some nice fiber, gets the omega-3 fatty acids. And what we're really doing is we're not focusing on individual nutrients. We're looking at this entire group of breakfast foods that I call it. Breakfast foods has all these nutrients in there. We want to see how we can optimize the system. That's why it's called Optimize for Life. Because we want to optimize our systems in our body. Our bodies like these whole grains. They digest them very slowly. You put a lot of fiber in here, okay? It doesn't spike the blood sugars. And a lot of times what I'll do is after I get up and get my water going, I have some quiet time in the morning, get my thoughts together, some meditation, some prayer, and cleaning up my mind. And then I will come down and I'll go for a run and maybe lift some weights or do some activity like that. Then I'll put my granola out like this or whatever grains, maybe a whole grain. I'm going to do some oat groats, something like that. And so what I like to do is put this out, maybe put some flax on there, and then I'll pour in some frozen berries. Okay? Before I go in the shower, I'll put some berries in here, some blueberries, some strawberries, some mixed berries, and then it'll just kind of start to melt a little bit or thaw out. Okay, then I'll come back and maybe put a little almond milk on there or soy milk, whatever I'm going to use for the day. Maybe I'll take some fresh fruit, maybe put a banana on there, throw in some almonds or king of the nuts, the walnuts. Okay, maybe I'll throw those in there. These are the flax and the sesame that I ground up to put in here. And so then I'll put it in here and I'll just let that sit there, let the fruit thaw out. And then I come back and have that breakfast. That'll stick with you for several hours. In fact, what you want to do is you want to eat that food, and then you want to break for about 3 to 4 hours in between meals, and then you just drink water between meals, maybe some herbal tea, things like that. 4 to 5, 6 hours between meals. You don't need to be eating very frequently when you're eating whole foods. Okay? So then basically that's what I have for breakfast. That's what gets the day going. You don't have to have exactly what I'm having. Some people like to even use legumes or beans and peas and things like that in the morning for more fiber to stabilize the blood sugar. But you eat the whole foods like this, your blood sugars won't be bouncing around and you'll have more energy throughout the day. Okay? So then, like I said, you eat this meal and then you wait for about 4 to 5 to 6 hours. So your system is basically done with the food, digesting it. It's going in and it's basically your stomach's resting. Remember, your stomach is lined with muscles, okay? And so what you want to do is you want to work those muscles, let them eat and so forth, and then you want to allow them to rest. So then the 4 to 5 to 6 hours in between there, whatever that works for you, drinking just plain water, maybe room temperature water between the meals, and then the next meal comes along. Okay, now I'm going to slide over here and I'm going to show you how to build maybe a lunch meal or something like that. And the thing you want to do is you want to build your lunch around leafy green vegetables. And that's what we have for the base right here. Is we have some green leafy vegetables. We throw some cruciferous vegetables like the cauliflower, some of the cabbage, the purple cabbages in there. Then we throw in some carrots and some tomatoes. Look at this. This is great. We have jicama in there. All right? And then we have some other types of herbs in here. just a mixture of greens, maybe a little bit of spinach, maybe some arugula, maybe some kale, maybe we'll throw in a little bit of bok choy. But this will be our base, and so we'll put this on the plate. And, it's so funny. We have dinner salads that look more like a garnish. I'm talking about really load this thing up, have a good size here, okay? And I start with this, and then what we like to do is we'd like to start with the salad like that, and then I'm going to add in maybe some beans, maybe some garbanzo beans, or maybe right here we have some chili beans. Here we have some the garbanzo beans. We have the pinto beans. Now some people say, I don't like to use the canned beans. Okay, then go ahead and do a pressure cooker or cook your beans and things like that. But if you want to do these, you just take them and you rinse them well, put them over the top of your salad. Okay, you're going to be adding the fiber in here. This is going to balance out the blood sugars again. You're not going to be spiking the blood sugars. Okay, so you start with the base of greens, throw in some cabbage, carrots, cucumbers, whatever it is, and then maybe you eat that, and then maybe you have a side meal or a side dish of maybe some quinoa, something like that, or you can get a red quinoa for a little variety. We have some wild rice here. Okay, you can put that down, or maybe you want to do a stir fry. I like to do salads, stir fries, and soups. Okay, so those are the types of things that we work from, and then maybe you want to throw in, maybe you want a slice of whole grain bread. Okay, that's maybe a little bit of processed food there, but if you like that texture, you like that bread, try to use a sprouted grain bread. Okay, so that's what we start with, and then again, at the end of this meal, then we stop. Okay, and then we wait 4 to 5, 6 hours again, drinking just water in between meals, and then we start maybe our last meal of the day should be the lightest. And that's maybe when you go back to maybe some fresh fruits. Maybe you just do a fresh fruits, some nice juicy fruits in the evening. Maybe you spin up a small smoothie or something like that where you use a lot of berries again. Or maybe you go back to having a green salad. Okay? And again, I forgot to tell you here, but you can add some seeds and nuts on top of your salad for a little texture. Sometimes you like the croutons and so forth like that. What I have here is I have some roasted almonds. Okay? Maybe I like to do some roasted almonds over the top where I used to maybe use a lot of croutons. Okay, so then I basically put on the roasted almonds like that. So what you'll see here is that basically we're abstaining from the processed foods, the animal protein foods, things like that. And what we're sustaining us, these are the foods that are going to sustain us. These are going to optimize your health. They're going to cleanse your system. They're going to bring the inflammatory factors down in your body. Okay, and you're going to be cleansing the body. You're going to be not only bringing in the nutrients, you're going to be getting the waste products out, because the body's going to have plenty of fiber to work with here. Now, if you're not used to any of this, so maybe you want to choose 7 meals for 1 week, and then you make them all whole foods, plant-based, nutrient-rich foods like that, and then you basically do that 7 meals for 1 week, and then maybe the next week you say, okay, I'm going to do 14 meals, and then the third week go 21 meals. So slowly you're taking the abstaining foods out of your diet. This is not a sprint. This is a marathon. So build for the marathon. It's not about what you can do in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. It's what you can do for the rest of your life. So we really want to assist you in optimizing all the systems of your body so they're working in harmony. Okay, and that's why this is really the only way to go if you want to have true, lasting health and to minimize all those risk factors for diseases that are maybe in your family tree. This type of living really takes you from fear, the fear of heart disease, the fear of diabetes, the fear of cancer, and releases you from that prison of fear, and you do something about it. You start acting today, go from fear to freedom when you start living a whole foods, nutrient-rich, plant-based lifestyle. Okay, so try that today. And like I said, if you have to ease into it and you do 7 meals for a week, that's fine. But what you want to do is you want to stock your shelves with all these foods. Okay? The abstaining foods, the refined foods, the animal protein. You're going to substitute and take those out. You're going to use the sustaining foods that I've been showing you here today. Whole foods, nutrient-rich, plant-based lifestyle. This is Jay for Optimize for Life. We want to help you optimize your life. Let's get started today by stocking your pantry with these wonderful, delicious whole foods. Until next time, all the best to you and optimize your life.